hold this entire time.
Thank you.
And has helped
Hi.
us test the phone lines. And thank you so much for waiting for so long.
That's okay. I'm actually cleaning and listening in the background. I've enjoyed listening to all the callers.
I'll dig it. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I've been listening for a while now, this past year. It's been very relevant in my life. I've kind of not really been in contact with my theist family for a while now. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a result of a lot of things that have happened throughout my life, mainly pertaining to Christianity and kind of their view of it. I actually ended up going to a rehab for an eating disorder and depression twice, and both times were at a Christian center. And the first time I came in and kind of let everyone know that I was an atheist and that I'd come from a very religious household, and I just didn't want any part of it. I was there kind of on a scholarship. I didn't have insurance. And they were great with me. I was there for a shorter time because of the scholarship, and everyone just kind of focused on the psychotherapy. Now, the second time, that really wasn't the case. I was more open that time and a little bit more desperate, I guess I should say, because I'd relapsed and I was a little bit more desperate for any kind of help. And they said, are you open to kind of possibly revisiting faith and rebranding it in a new way? And I said,
no.
Sure, why not? So kind of
run away.
A new version of the Bible.
Yeah. So kind of like they took that and they ran with it. And I mean, I'll say, you know, everything was great with the psychotherapy part. They're great with that. But if you do want to talk about the theist part, they'll tell you basically in the end of it, well, I wouldn't say they because I don't want to generalize, but one of the therapists basically at the end of my extensive treatment just leaned in and said, Alina, you know, if you don't find Jesus and accept him into your heart, this will be a lifelong struggle for you, and you'll never get over your eating disorder.
You.
That's awful.
And
my
this is a big place. Yeah, I know. And at the time, I agreed with her because I had multiple PhD people. You know, I mean, this is a pretty big rehab center here in Washington.
And you're in crisis.
And
that is not okay.
Yeah, it's faith-based. And, you know, the director of this place has multiple books that they sell at the center for this rehab, and at the end of every book it basically just has a chapter saying find Jesus, that this is the only way, in a non explicit way.
There's your answer.
It's definitely implied.
That's horrendous.
So I just kind of wanted to see what your guys' take was on the conversations that you've had with, you know, PhD psychotherapists who you know, might come around to the idea of meds, but will still say that, you know, you've got to find Jesus and do believe in a literal hell and things like that. Like, what's your opinion about it? I just never really talked to another atheist who's had a lot of experience with this about.
I don't know. I'm really surprised that you ran into people that have PhDs in psychotherapy and things that still prescribe to the notion that Jesus can make you better. I find those things to be so mutually exclusive that I can't believe that they were even going down that road. Typically, the people that I've seen that in therapy are prescribing Jesus is the answer don't have many letters behind their name at all. Because once you learn about mental illness and what's needed to help people, you're not going to say, oh, it's Jesus. So that's just shocking to me, and I would run like hell from those people. You know, it's horrible.
I didn't. I actually went back after months of treatment. It was all day, every day. Mm-hmm. I actually went back they told me that I needed to come back and come once a week for group therapy, and I did that for months and months because I had insurance. Mm-hmm. But the thing with it is it's not explicit, you know?
Yeah.
The only time that it ever was the literally word for word, you need Jesus, is with that one therapist at the end of my treatment. You know, she really saw me struggling, and I guess she thought that if I left without really hearing it, that I would have no hope.
Wow.
So I feel like she said it just out of a personal thing. Like, she really thought that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, even if you do go online at this center and you look on, you know, the books for this place, it's open to the public. They can all see this. So and I actually called them back.
Yeah.
And I wanted to speak to one of them about this just this year. And they actually said that we're very scientific here and we don't know what you're talking about. This is just our
So they gaslight you on top of it.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about. This is our personal belief, and you don't have to believe it if you don't want to. We have a lot of other psychotherapy that we offer here that is not based on anything religious. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, you have DBT, you have all the stuff. But then it always comes back to you just need Jesus in the end, because that's ultimately what's going to save you here in life, and then that's what's going to save your eternal soul.
Wow.
So I don't know where to go from here, because pressing on some of that guilt that's still there.
Sure.
You know, that maybe she is right, but then cutting off, you know, basically all communication with my family these past couple of years is really like solidified for me, like how horribly I was.
Yeah.
Do you have other options for a treatment center or therapy that you can get that's not connected to this place that seems to have an underbelly of Christian faith?
I've definitely gone to therapists outside of this, and they did have a sympathetic view towards it, but I've never asked my therapist personally what their personal beliefs in God were. And because of that, I'm now wary, because you don't know whose religion, you don't know what the person believes, you know? And it's really hard. It's just really hard to come across a therapist who will respectfully say that religion is bad. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do know of an organization called the Secular Therapy Alliance.
The Secular Therapy Project.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
That's what we were directed to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is my experience, Dave, is very different from yours.
Really?
Yeah. I especially finding a therapist here in Austin, I searched for about 7 months. Trying to find someone who is secular friendly, and wound up, just politely being declined until I found someone through the Secular Therapy Project.
Yeah,
actually. So
look that up. Yeah.
I totally get it, and definitely religiosity is not an indicator of intelligence or something like that. People can couch their religion in a whole bunch of wonky places, but in the end, when you're in crisis, that is not the time to change your worldview. That is the time to be treated ethically, responsibly, with care. And I mean, you find these in beginning of life, end of life, and in major moments like marriage or divorce,
right.
or when you're moving, when you're in these big upsetting changes in your life. That's when people want to dive in and do that. And you wouldn't accept that for anything else. Mm-mm. But accepting that here, all of a sudden seems viable. People think that they can couch their religion in caring about crisis pregnancy centers that don't actually offer choices. They just say, no, abortion can never be an option. Right.
Those secret abortion clinics, I've watched so much on YouTube, and I've even seen like the intellectuals like Jordan Peterson and like some of those other people that have become popular defend things like that and say that actually unfortunate circumstances are the way that Jesus brings you to God. So those are
fucking
perfect moments
gross.
that come in is when you are struggling. That's when Jesus is bringing you to Him, and that's when you need Him the most. Mm-hmm. So you guys saying that that's like the worst time. The whole message of my family saying that I've struggled with all my things is because this is the way that Jesus is bringing me to Him.
Well, that's not true, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do, but then
I know it still weighs on you,
and I can't sleep.
Right.
I don't. I wonder, and then and that's why I had to cut off the contact with them, is because every time I look at them, they're just looking at me like this, like weird, not heterosexual girl that just has tattoos and won't find Jesus, even though he's shown her all these miracles and things like that. So
can I offer something up to you here? Let's say you and I were having a conversation outside of this show, right? And we're sitting on the couch, and I told you that my partner has been correcting me, and I'm really grateful, because every time I misspeak, they hit me, and I get better. Or they saw me doing something wrong, but they punished me, and so I learned my lesson.
Yeah, that's bad.
How would you feel about my partner?
That's bad. You're right.
And yet, the excuse is that Jesus is causing suffering and pain in your life to teach you a lesson. That's not love. That's abuse.
Yeah, they said that it's because, I drink, and because I'm not straight, and because I'm left the church. They said that God has the right to do anything he wants to you, because he explicitly told you to follow his rules, and if you don't, then it's all fair game. And I've kind of gotten that from like a lot of fundamentalist religion people, is like they see that God has the right to do anything he wants with you because he created you, and he told you to follow him, and if you don't, then you do it to yourself. Oh, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh my God.
Is that you do it to yourself,
Would you be okay hearing me saying that about a partner that I was with?
Not at all.
Don't accept it for yourself.
What a lot of I've met a lot of girls, unfortunately, throughout my life that get hit by their partners, and they say, "Well, if I didn't say that, then he wouldn't hit me."
That's an abusive relationship, and God, in that context, is an abuser. Period.
Yeah.
No other explanation for it.
But
I hope you've got a community of people that you can connect with, either in person or online, that support your understanding of these things, what we're talking about. So that, we're connected with a vast online community through several Facebook pages and so on, of people who've come out of religion and now no longer believe and are atheists. And we support each other, just having those connections and those communications, either in person or online, to process these kinds of things and to vent and do. It's very, very valuable. And if you don't have something like that, we can get you connected with that.
Absolutely. We have
Even this phone call just like totally made me feel better, because I haven't called in and I've been watching for like a year now. It's pretty new that I'm coming out with all this stuff, like really. So this is, I think, the beginning of it. I think I'm going to definitely reach out from here on and kind of talk about this more.
That's awesome.
Good. And so check out our Discord. I know we post the link usually in the live chat. Actually, it just got dropped by Perfect. Good on you. That is a place where people are talking to each other. Yeah. It is a call. And I've got to tell you, the care and the kindness, the support and empathy that I've seen there has made me cry multiple times. It is just beautiful. Yeah. And I would love for you to join this community.
It'll help you greatly.
Other than that,
great. Awesome.
You are getting the biggest freaking hug.
Thank you so much.
You're going to make it through.
Both of you two are great. Thank you so much for talking to me. You guys have been so helpful.
Good. So glad to hear that.
Take care.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye now.
I hope I see her.